Good morning, everybody. My name is Dillon. I go to Cypress High School. I am a junior, and I was asked to do a testimony about my growth in my faith and how I have progressed in my faith throughout my whole life and how Jesus has worked through me. So yeah, let's get started. Basically, I grew up in a Christian household. My parents are both Christian. They've always been Christian along with their parents. And they put me into a Christian school from kindergarten up to 6th grade. I went to Grace Christian School, and that was a great experience. I definitely am very thankful to be put into, be introduced into Christianity so soon, because I feel like that really helped with, how I see things and how my faith is now. I feel like without that, I wouldn't be who I am. So I am very thankful for that. However, it did kind of feel forced in a way because I was so young. I didn't really see the bigger picture. And I understand that they didn't teach us the whole bigger picture into having a relationship with Jesus and stuff, because since we were young and kids, we couldn't really understand a lot of that. But anyway, I was at Grace until 6th grade. And then after that, I went to Lexington in middle school. This was a huge jump in my life because it was my first time going to a school that wasn't a private school and wasn't a Christian school. So it was a huge change in my life. And to be honest, 7th grade started off pretty rough. It was a pretty big low in my life. I wasn't, at all paying attention to my faith at all. It was never a thought on my mind. None of it was there. I didn't like going to church. I only went to church when I was forced to by my parents, and it just wasn't a thing on my mind. It wasn't crazy important to me. Then 8th grade, it was pretty much the same throughout the beginning of 8th grade, but towards the middle of 8th grade, I was being begged by my friend Logan to continue to go to youth group, which was at Cypress Church here, and I always make up excuses that I couldn't go and stuff when I knew I really could. Eventually, I decided to start going, and I did enjoy it. And then, after 8th grade, throughout freshman year, I started going to a Bible study that was hosted by my friend's dad named Danny. I'm just so thankful to have him in my life because he has taught me so much about God's Word, and I feel like, without him, I would not be anywhere close to, to where I am now in my faith. And that kind of died off after like maybe a few months because schedules got in the way, and that sort of died off. But towards the end of freshman year, Logan once again was bugging me to go to Hume Lake, which is a Christian camp that we go to, and I really wasn't down to go. He kept asking me to go, and I kept making up excuses like I don't know if I want to, or I don't know if the price will be too much, even though I wasn't going to be the one paying for it. It'd be my parents. But I kept just making up excuses, and eventually he started asking me again, and this was like a week before they actually were about to head up there, and for something just told me, just do it. So I gave in, and I finally did it. I told him that I would go, and that decision was probably one of the best decisions I made in my life, because that camp definitely changed me as a person and really opened my eyes to Jesus and God's Word and learning about that. So I'm very thankful that Logan was bugging me to go there, because without him bugging me to go there, I don't think I would be where I am now. And that was a great experience in my life. Hume Lake is an awesome place. Then came back from Hume Lakes to start sophomore year, and I was feeling really good. I felt like my faith was really strong. I played football, and I had a bunch of the seniors around me who recently graduated, who also went to our youth group and went to Hume Lake. So they were a huge, inspiration to me, and it was awesome to have somebody like that to look up to, and I'm definitely going to miss them. But towards the end of sophomore year, obviously, COVID-19 happened, and we started going into quarantine. Quarantine for me was definitely a big up and down and roller coaster, because I started getting into things that I shouldn't have been, and I was just getting in my head too much, and it was really tearing me apart. But I would always pray and ask for forgiveness, but this was just like a normal thing. I really didn't think much of it. I would just ask for forgiveness every night. But one night in particular, I prayed, and I sat there afterwards and just listened. And that moment, I heard God speak to me, and I heard him tell me what to do to get out of my situation. So me hearing that for the first time was such a crazy experience, because I've never heard something like that before. I never heard God actually speak to me, and this was a crazy moment, because when I heard that voice, I knew that it was God. I knew that this was, the step that I needed to take to get out of this hole that I dug myself into. So, I listened to God, and I did what he wanted me to do. And, after that, I kind of just started going uphill again. My faith has been so strong. And, towards quarantine, this whole quarantine, youth group finally started back up, so I got to go to that. I also recently started to go to a Bible study again, hosted by Danny, who hosted the previous one when I was in ninth grade. And this Bible study is more of a men's group, so there's a lot of older guys. There's me and my friend Nate, who are 16, but then there's also guys who are 20 years old, and him who's 40 years old. So there was a big spectrum of people there, and we were learning about discipleship right now. And I feel like that this time in my life right now is where I need to be, and I just need to keep focusing on where I am now, because I still have a lot ahead of me, a lot to learn, because I'm only 16, and all I can do from here is grow. So that's pretty much it. I have a lot to learn still, and I'm looking forward to continuing to grow my faith in God and learn about his word. So thank you guys so much for listening in, and I'll see you guys later.